All right, these are the introduction slides. So the original question was, well, why is science important? Well, these are some quotes on science that I think sum up like the three different ways that science can be looked at. So science is a way of thinking much more than it is a body of knowledge, and that was by Carl Sagan. Now, science, my lad, is made up of mistakes, but they are mistakes which it is useful to make because they lead little by little to the truth, and that was by Jules Verne. And the last one's the scientist is not a person who gives the right answers. He's the one who asks the right questions. So I like these because it just sort of says, okay, well, science is a way of thinking, not just so much like a class. And science is about mistakes, making mistakes and learning from them and progressing on them. And the last one is, well, about asking questions, not trying to answer everything. So Neil deGrasse Tyson says the good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it. So he says, for me, I am driven by two main philosophies. Know more today about the world than I knew yesterday and lessen the suffering of others. You'd be surprised how far that gets you. All right, so now that we have why science is important, let's talk about this class. So what do you need for this class? So some materials that you will need by class is a notebook and 70 pages minimum. So just a small notebook, the one you can get at Walmart for like 25, 50 cents. A calculator, because you cannot use your phone as a calculator. This is because on quizzes, just want to make sure that nobody's like Googling any of the answers. You'll need a pen or a pencil, a charged Chromebook. So bring your charger so you can charge it in class. There's a lot of outlets around the room. So here are the policies on bathrooms. So use the bathrooms in X hallway only. That's like the closest bathroom to this room. If that one's locked, use the bathroom at the end of a hallway. That's the next one. Don't ask to go before the bell rings. Do not ask to go in the first 10 minutes of class or the last 10 minutes of class. Those are very important, getting the class started on time. It is important that we start this class on time and finish strong. Don't ask while Mr. Cardoza is talking, right? It's just sort of disrespectful. Only one out in the bathroom at a time. This is a safety thing. If I need to make sure I know where all the students are at all the times, if there's some sort of like a drill, I know exactly where all the students are. Take that bathroom pass. This is the clipboard that's by the door. You can see that in that photo up there. All right, so as far as attendance or tardies, right? In order to be counted present, you must be within your seat and complete the opening move. So that's that first question of the day within the first 3 minutes of class. So there's 3 minutes. So there's two things: just be in your seat because I take attendance by seating chart, and what I do is I look at who hasn't answered the opening moves. Those students just should not be present. When the bell rings, the door closes and is locked. So if you're late, just get a pocket tracker. I'm going to be really protective of those first, starting on time in those first 10 minutes of class. So if you need to use the bathroom within the first 10 minutes of class or last 10 minutes of class and you think it is an emergency, you will have to get a pocket tracker. If you are absent for a day for any reason, you must make up the work that you missed. Everything is virtual. It's digital, so it can be done at home. The labs are all the videos that accompany them will also be on there, so you'll be able to do labs even if you miss class that day. Right? This is just so we can continue learning even if we're not absent. Now, phones and headphones. Well, do not have your phone out while Mr. Cardoza is talking. Just be respectful. Mindlessly scrolling is not going to be allowed. Headphones are not allowed in Mr. Cardoza's classroom. So this is mostly just when I'm talking. There will be an exception like during labs when you're back there working or independent work time, yes. But when I'm talking, I need to make sure the headphones are out. Even if there isn't any music playing, you cannot have headphones in your ears because I don't know that. And I'm not going to go around and individually ask. This is just to make sure. You do not need them, like while I'm talking. You just don't need them. Mr. Cardoza, I will politely remind you that to put your headphones or phones away and take out your headphones at the beginning of each period. If it's a problem, I might have to call home. But this is just to ensure that those first 10 minutes, we start on time and all the instructions, every student hears it. That way I don't have to go back and, tell students who weren't paying attention what to do. All right, class setup, it's a weekly basis. So there will be a bell work that's like the opening moves Monday through Thursday. Now, attendance will be taken this way and by the seating chart. There will be a homework assignment every week, and that's due Thursday at 3:20 p.m. There'll be a short quiz every Friday, first thing in class. There will be a notebook check, and this is for my physics class, not for my honors class. There will be a notebook check on Friday during the quiz. There will be at least one lab assignment every week, which will be due at 3:20 p.m. on Friday. Everything is on Google Classroom. If you're absent, you're expected to finish any of the assignments you missed, with the exception of those opening moves, right? That's just more to get a gauge of how much the class knows. Now, these are the grades. Homework is 20 for my physics class. Homework is 20% your grade. Labs are 20% your grade. Notebook checks are 20% your grade. Quiz and tests are 30% your grade. And the final is worth 10% of your grade. Now, for honors, Well, homework is 20% of your grade, labs are 20% of your grade, quizzes are 50% of your grade, the final is 10% of your grade. Now, the homework assignment. So it'll be assigned every week, Monday at 8 a.m. and due Thursday at 3:20 p.m. You're able to see your score, what you missed, and correct it. You will be able to do the homework assignment as many times as you need, so the highest score will be taken. Every question you get right will make the next question you get right worth more points. This is to encourage you to get them all right. Now, the intent of the homework assignment is to practice the content for the quiz on Friday. Most of the questions on the quizzes will be taken from the homework assignment, so you should have seen all of them and answered them correctly. All late work will be given a maximum of 75%. So that's a C. That's not bad. You have 1 week to turn in late homework. After 1 week, the opportunity to turn it in is gone. So labs, all lab assignments Monday through Wednesday from that week will be due at 3:20 p.m. on that Friday. Lab assignments on Thursday and Friday will be due at 3:20 p.m. the next Friday. All labs are virtual copies. If you miss a lab, watch the video to complete it. Labs will be graded on quality. So they will be graded quickly. You will be given a week to change answers to get a better grade. So if you answer some of those conclusion questions and I feel like you don't quite understand the material, well, it'll just be entered as like a retake and you'll have to just fix some of those conclusion questions. You don't have to do the lab again. You just have to correct some of those conclusion questions to get full credit. You have 1 week to turn in late labs. After 1 week, the opportunity to turn it in is gone. If you turn in a lab late, the opportunity to redo it is gone. So turn in quality work. Uh, yeah, after 1 week, the opportunity to turn it in is gone. Right, so just 1 week on that late work. So notebook. This is for my physics class, not my honors classes. But honors classes are encouraged to keep a notebook because you do get to use them on quizzes and finals. There will be a notebook checking class during the Friday quizzes. You do get to use the notebooks on your quizzes, tests, and final. It benefits you to have a notebook. Mr. Cardozo will show you what to put in your notebook on Google Classroom. So on the slides, the text that needs to be written in the notebook will be highlighted in green. In order to receive full credit, you must have an up-to-date table of contents, page number, week number, and topic. So there is Google Classroom slide that says, notebook, and it'll show you how to break that down. If you miss a notebook check or do not get full credit, you are able to get full credit on it. There's a Google Forms on Google Classroom to turn it in by taking a photo of your notebook. You have 1 week to turn in late or missed notebook check. After 1 week, that opportunity to turn in is gone. This is to encourage you to keep an up-to-date notebook because all of this builds on each other. And there's no digital notebooks. No digital notebooks. That's because you won't be able to use it on the quiz because you're blocked out of all the other tabs. Now, quizzes. There will be a short quiz every Friday first thing in class. You will get to use your notebook. Quizzes can be retaken the next week, but must be made up during impact the next week. So you can make that up. So you can see Mr. Cardozo for a pass. If a quiz is missed, it must be made up during impact or a workday. So if you miss it, you can do it during like the work time, right? So that way I can keep an eye just to make sure you're doing that. But if you want to correct a quiz, like redo it, then you have to go out of your way to get a pass for impact. You'll have 1 week to make up a quiz and or correct it. After 1 week, the opportunity to turn it in is gone. And at the end of the semester, the lowest two quizzes will be dropped. So there is like some forgiveness there. That's just to limit, like if you accidentally miss one, didn't make it up, or you just didn't do well on a couple quizzes, that just sort of eliminates some of those outliers. So late work. All late work will be given a maximum of 75%. So you have 1 week to turn in late work. After 1 week, the opportunity to turn it in is gone. If you're late on a notebook check, there is a Google Forms on Google Classroom to turn it in. If you turn in a lab late, the opportunity to redo it is gone. So turn in quality work. If a quiz is missed, it must be made up during impact during a work day or during a work day. So that's if you miss a quiz. Now that's not going to be counted as late. That's just making it up. But you have a week to do it. So just saying, like, we're human, we make mistakes. There is some forgiveness there, but it's not going to be like just turning in anything at any time. So then what we did for the introductory week as an icebreaker is the Arecibo challenge. So what is the Arecibo challenge? It was decoding a message. So a coded message has been received from space. This could be the first signal ever received from the intelligent extraterrestrial life. It is up to you and your team to decode the message. Time is of the essence. Other teams are trying to decode the message at this very moment. The mission is to complete the Arecibo challenge before the other teams do. So this was the message, and the first part was just listening to it. So that can be found on Google Classroom, but you're just listening to it. You can even see the waveform there. And the first part was just saying, okay, what do you notice? Different tones, repeating pattern, pauses in the transmission, frequency of tones, and we just wrote our initial assumption. So the Arecibo challenge. So what you did was you got into groups and you were trying to decode the message. And there's that code to start it. It was 860. But this is just sort of go over it, how we went about decoding it. So you were first asked, well, how many different tones were there? There were only two different tones. Then talked about binary, and binary is a system of numerical notation that has 2 rather than 10 as its base. So that's what computers use. Now, we were talking about how binary can be used. Whatever message this is was trying to convey a message through two different tones. How many total tones are in the message? There was 143 tones. So how many factors does a prime number have? Well, it's going to be 2, 1 and itself. Now, there's 143 tones. Is 143 a prime number? No. It is divisible by two prime numbers, 11 and 13. It's what we call a semi-prime number. So this was the part where now we started to decode it. It was just kind of a fun like coloring challenge. So what you did was you got some grid paper and made a grid 11 by 13. So 11 horizontal, 13 down, and starting left from right, top to bottom, just like you're reading, you started to fill it in. So one color was one tone and the other color was another tone. You can see here the first 11 tones were all the same tone. So notice that that first row is all zeros. I just put 0 in there, but it's all light gray. Now the next one, well, the next 11 tones had 3 low tones, 4 high tones, 4 low tones. So that's what it is. And you continue to do that for all 143 tones, and then a secret picture will do that. So in order to get credit, you turn that in, but you're supposed to cut it out, put your name on the back, and then turn it into Mr. Cardoza, myself, and I was going to hang up the best ones that looked really good. So that was how we did that. Now the next part, the part two, was actually decoding the actual Arecibo message. So Carl Sagan, who was like in charge of putting the Arecibo message together, came up with this. So it was just like the Arecibo challenge. Now, it was a radio message carrying basic information about humanity and Earth that was sent to Globular Cluster M13 in 1974. So this was to commemorate the Arecibo telescope undergoing some maintenance, and they reopened it, and as sort of like a publicity stunt, they did this. It was meant to a demonstration of human technological achievement rather than a real attempt to enter into conversation with extraterrestrials. So it wasn't really an attempt to say, hey, we're going to really start to try to communicate. It was just more like showing, hey, look what we can do. Now, the entire message consisted of 1,679 binary digits. So that's 169. That's not a prime number. It's a semi-prime number. So it's two prime numbers multiplied together, 73 rows, 23 columns. And then you notice that it's that. Now, the next part was to decode the actual message. And there was papers back there that had them, and you were to decode the message. And that's what it was. This one was just based on completion. It wasn't for grade. And most people got like 4 out of 5. It is a pretty difficult challenge to do that. And we, as humans, wrote this. All right, so just as a final thought, remember there's too much unknown in the universe to take a break from learning and get out there and question everything.